I was born into a family where my father was a full-blown alcoholic his whole life. My mother was a workaholic. I was the youngest of 4 kids. I was like just left in the room, here's books, here's toys, do whatever. Pretty much had to raise myself most of my life. Never felt like I belonged there, never felt like I wanted to be in this world. I had a lot of anger inside me, never really understood why. But at the age of between 10 and 11, I started trying to kill myself. I did it multiple times, and each time I got taken to the hospital, I'd have my stomach pumped, all that. But then each time I'd go back and I'd plan it out to the biggest, littlest detail, thinking it was going to be work out. The third time, it was an accident that they found me, and it was really bad. And that's when I was transferred to a mental institution in Oakland. Wasn't allowed to ride with my parents, weren't allowed to see my parents or talk to them for 72 hours. And that was really scared and frightening, the things that I seen there, the things that I went through there. But at the same time, that was the first time God spoke to me. God spoke to me, and he had told me that he created me. He put me here on this earth for a reason. And no matter what I did, I wasn't going to be able to leave this earth. No matter how much I wanted to, no matter how many times, all it was going to do is end up making my life harder on myself. So I quit trying to harm myself, but I didn't fully know what he wanted. Like I said, I was still young. I was still confused. I was alone. I was in a family, in a home with all my brothers, sisters, my mom and dad, but I was always alone, and I felt alone. My father passed. I turned into an alcoholic. And then I started turning to drugs. My mother shut down, and I was left on my own again. So by the age of 13, I was out on the streets. I got pregnant when I was 15. Didn't know how to really read or write very well. Dropped out of school in junior high. I was left on my own. I turned to the only things that I knew how to do, which was the streets. By the age of, I guess I was 25, I found myself pregnant with my 3rd child, a single mom. Because of my background, because of the choices I had made, I was facing 7 years in prison. I was at a friend's house. She was getting ready to take me, and somebody knocked at the door. And I just happened to open her door, and there was a man there with 2 other ladies, and he started talking to me and started telling me things about my life and about my past. And he told me, don't give up my daughter. He said, all you gotta do is admit that you love your daughter, and everything's gonna be okay. I did a little bit of time after she was born, but I had a house for her to live in while I was gone. But then eventually along the way, I forgot everything that had happened and just went back to trying to control my own life, my own situation. And over the years, then I had another child, but this last child I had prayed for. And I was grateful I got him, and he's a blessing, but I prayed for him thinking that it was going to keep me and my husband together. And so when it didn't, I started to think I wasn't worthy. I started putting myself down. So it's been a really hard, difficult life. And I kept praying, and I kept praying to God. It's like, okay, you put me here, I don't understand. I tried different things, and I was finally realizing God's not the one who's causing my pain. I'm causing my pain. God always provided. And then I started to throw his blessings back into his face. So then I started to feel guilty. And eventually, I kept praying and kept praying and kept praying, and God led me to Tekoa Church. The moment I walked in those doors, I just started crying. The sign was the first thing. Welcome home. Find your people, your purpose. That was amazing to me. And I knew that's where God wanted me to be. And then the first group I signed up for was Rooted. And Rooted was really hard. And there was many times I wanted to back out, and I was scared. But it brought up a lot of questions that I had to really be honest with myself about. And it helped me heal a lot, because for me to even get there and stay there is amazing to me. And the fact that I could bring other people in and that they're going to stay, it lets me know that I'm doing what God wants me to do. It's been a long journey, but then I felt like I owed God. So I just wanted to jump in and start serving God. And then God started showing me little by little that throughout all my struggles, throughout all my pain, I've always been kind of doing his work. But from my experience alone, the longer I take to surrender, I'm just causing my own pain. It's been a long process, and I feel like I'm pretty much there all the way, but I know there's still work I gotta do. But I'm grateful.